Okay, resetters, we're gonna dive in on this video into insulin resistance. And I really wanna talk about the real cause of it. And I wanna make it simple for you. I just think in this world of health that we've created, we've just overcomplicated everything. And so it becomes hard to be healthy because we don't even understand something as simple as insulin resistance. Once you understand it, you'll start to see that you have a lot more control than perhaps you've even been taught. So let's dive in and let's break this down. Okay, so the first question to ask is, well, what is insulin resistance? Like, what is it? And here's the way I like to look at it. You've got trillions of these cells floating around your body. They're just moving around, okay? And in each cell, on the outside of that cell is a porous membrane. And I like to think of it like an amoeba that's like pulling in hormones and nutrients and pushing out toxins. It's a very flexible outer membrane. It's got these receptor sites that I like to think as gates that can really allow all the good to come in. And so when we look at this outer membrane of these cells, what happens to us over time with poor diet, with tons of stress, with toxic overload, is that membrane becomes rigid. And with that rigidity comes this challenge of inflammation, and we can't get hormones into our body anymore. So we've got to bring back that flexibility so that we can get nutrients in and toxins out. So when we look at the real cause of insulin resistance, it's multifactorial, but the root is this outer cellular membrane that is rigid. It is not porous anymore, and the gates are shut, and the fluidity of the membrane is not doing its job. So the first thing we've got to do is let's repair this membrane. And the first thing that I'll tell you is eat good fats, not bad ones. And this is really important because bad fats are everywhere. Gosh, it's so hard. I mean, you go out to a restaurant and like I struggle sometimes to find the right fat. But if you're conscious about it, if you know what your good fats and bad fats are, you can really become aware of it. And this is where I kind of say like the 80-20 rule is important. 80% of the time eating good fats, 20% maybe not as many. So we want to start looking at changing our fats out. Second thing about this cellular outer membrane is remember these receptor sites. You got a lot of them on the outside of the cell. They're like pulling in vitamin D, they're pulling in estrogen, they're pulling in growth hormone, testosterone, they're just nutrients, they're pulling it in and bringing it into the cell. But all of a sudden they get blocked with toxin and we can't get even the insulin in. So think about this from insulin's perspective. You eat a meal, glucose goes up, the pancreas senses that, the pancreas releases insulin, all of a sudden insulin's floating around. It's like, hey, there's a glucose molecule. I gotta put that in a cell. I gotta make sure that gets used. So it starts to look for cells and it's like, no, that's not an open gate. Oh wait, there's a cell with no, that one's not open. And it looks around trying to figure out where the gates are to put glucose into the cell so it can be used for energy. And its first thing that it will do if all of a sudden it realizes that it can't push glucose in, is it'll make more insulin. And it makes more insulin to try to, again, push that glucose in, but the reality is the gates are shut. So what shuts the gate? Well, too much insulin will shut the gates, and that's kind of what we've been taught, but it's deeper than that. Toxins are a big, big part. So let's look at everything from your plastic water bottles to your beauty care to every toxin. Like if you are really struggling with insulin resistance, I can't emphasize enough that we've got to start minimizing the influx of toxins. We call them obesogens that block these gates for insulin and glucose. So I wrote about it in Fast Like a Girl. I list many of the obesogens actually in both books, so you can go check it out there. But we've got to bring our toxic load down. So we're eating the good fats, we're minimizing the bad ones, and we're really getting a handle on the toxins. Another part of the cellular repair that's not talked about enough is our thoughts. This is why you will hear me on every video, like cheering you on, encouraging you to say loving things to yourself. Because when we are thinking toxic thoughts over and over and over again, there are actually receptors on the outside of these cells that sense these toxic thoughts and create cellular inflammation. Think about that for a moment. You're going along, doing all your great stuff, and all of a sudden you're like, I'm doing everything right, it's not working, and you're upset, you're angry at people, you're angry at yourself, you're guilting and shaming yourself, and what you don't realize is all day long, all those toxic thoughts are creating cellular inflammation, and it's affecting your insulin sensitivity. The genius that taught us that was Bruce Lipton. I brought him on my podcast, we talked about this quite a bit. of like, how do you handle these toxic thoughts? How do you handle old patterns? This is why you're going to see I just brought on actually my therapist onto my the Resetter podcast, and I wanted her to come on and talk about EMDR. I've been doing EMDR with her because I'm trying to get to the root of many of these toxic thoughts. Now, it's easy to say like I'm a positive person, which I am, but I'm a human and I have toxic thoughts show up. But what I've decided at my age of 53 is that I want to make sure I minimize those toxic thoughts so they don't create cellular inflammation. So I got to get to the root of some of these, and that's what EMDR can do. Okay, so that's just cellular membrane. Like I'm not done. Like that's just the beginning of where we see this insulin resistance. The second thing, now we've repaired the cellular membrane. Now let's get to the mitochondria. Now the mitochondria are really important. They also have a membrane, so they follow the same rules I just taught you. But when we look at these mitochondria, let's look at their job. What's their job? Their job is to make energy for you. We call it ATP. So if they make energy for you, you're gonna have energy to move and go do things. You're maybe a little bit happier, energy to heal. Amazing. So we get more energy when we heal the mitochondria. But the mitochondria also, what they do is they upregulate glutathione. And glutathione will clean that cell up. So those toxins that are blocking and destroying the inner parts of the cell, the toxins that are blocking the outer cellular membrane, now have an internal resource to be able to detox it. That's how powerful the mitochondria are. And this is why you hear, if you start to see trends in my videos, that mitochondria gets talked about a lot because it's that important for our overall health. How do we heal the mitochondria? Well, all the principles I talked about with the outer membrane of your cells, but I also want to add two more important things. One way you heal the mitochondria is through ketones. So this is why I love dipping into the fasted state. We can really, really help insulin resistance by just a little small microdoses of ketones here and there. You don't have to get a ton of them. Let's just get some small ones. And all of a sudden that goes in and starts to heal those mitochondria. The other thing, I've talked about this before, I don't have a favorite on this one, but mitochondria love organ meat. So are you eating organ meats? Liver, heart? We started doing chicken hearts in our house. It was really yummy. If you're like, no, I'm not doing organ meats. There are incredible supplements out there. You can go to my website, and we have quite a few that we like. But in general, organ meats nourish those mitochondria. So the other thing, check this out. This is really neat, is that you have these receptor sites on the outside of the mitochondria for red light. So are you getting up with the sun is your eyes seeing the sunrise? You know, how do we get exposure of red light to these mitochondria? Now, okay, I got to interrupt this video because I have a free guide for you so you can master fasting. It's called A Beginner's Guide to a Fasting Lifestyle. And all you've got to do is click here and you can jump right in. This is where these new red light gadgets are coming in that are quite helpful. So the mitochondria matters when we're looking at insulin resistance. Okay, second thing that I want to look at. The first was we need to repair the cellular membrane and we need to heal the mitochondria. But the second phase to this, to insulin resistance, that I really want to talk about is we got to make healthy cells. So how do we do that? Okay, well, you're going to see some overlap here. We can do that by good fats, not bad fat. We can do that by minimizing our blood sugar spike. We can do that by getting a hold of our toxic influx. And we can do that by controlling our stress thoughts and really working on stress. And I know I keep saying it here over and over and over again, but I have come to the conclusion after teaching the world hormonal health for over 25 years, I have come to the conclusion that the most damaging molecule to hormones is cortisol. So we can dial in our food, we can dial in our exercise, but if you're still angry, if you're still living a stressed out life, you're still making yourself insulin resistant. This is why we've got to heal ourselves. We've got to work on ourselves. Because as we heal ourselves, we heal our cells. And as we heal our cells, we stop having insulin resistance and we stop having diseases like the chronic diseases that are showing up. I really feel like stress is at the root. It is the number one thing we've got to work on. Remember, cortisol controls insulin. And so if we can get cortisol under control, we can get insulin under control. If we can get insulin under control, we can really get our sex hormones under control. Which leads me to my last point here, which is oxytocin. Don't forget the power of oxytocin. And here's how we're going to get some oxytocin. So in this thread on this video, if you see somebody's comment that you like it, give them a comment back. Say, hey, if somebody put in here, let's do this. Put in the comments how much weight you've lost with fasting or watching my videos in general. Okay, so put that in the comment, and then I want everybody else to go into that comment, and I want you to cheer that person on. And here's why we're doing this. Because the person who puts their win in the comment, they feel good. They should own it. If you got great fasting results, it could be maybe just put any great fasting result. Put it in there and be proud of that. And so you get oxytocin by declaring to everybody watching this video, here's what happened to me. And what happens is when the other people come over and they're like, look at that win, that's amazing. They get oxytocin when they tell you something nice. Now you're getting another dose of oxytocin, and none of us even laugh. And we're able to support each other in better oxytocin health. And with that, we start to support each other in better cortisol production. And with that, we start to make ourselves insulin sensitive. And with that, now we balance sex hormones out. And we were able to do it from our phones, from our computers, not even knowing each other, but supporting each other and rallying around each other's health because we are all interconnected. And that's the power of something like a YouTube video. I know you're struggling to lose weight. It may be your fasting length. So in this video, I'm going to show you the perfect fasting length to unstick weight loss. In fact, it's such an incredible tool for weight loss. I think you should start with fasting before you change your food to be able to get into that door in for losing weight.